constant communication with our clients that way. So as for what we do, we basically focus on business automation at scale, which starts with, of course, process automation. We identify and automate repetitive tasks to enhance efficiency. And as you can get surmise, uh, for larger organizations, there's a lot of scope to streamline workflows so that resource allocation across the organization is optimum. So of course, as technology providers, we don't have a say in organizational strategy. What we focus on is giving these organizations the tools necessary to have visibility of where there are inefficiencies. So they take care of the rest. They make data-driven decisions powered by our tools. Uh, Once the basic digitization is in place, once we have the data pipelines set up, we can our analytics team comes in and they analyze the data and give their best opinions on how predictive analytics can help them. Because of course you need a great idea of what your past is, how well gelled your business is, but that also allows us to give predictive analytics into how the company should function in the future. We build retail intelligence pipelines for FMCG based companies like BAT, Grameenphone, bKash. So these constant data funnels also allow us to uh, provide advanced insights into how the market landscape might change going into the future if there's a new competitor out for a client in the market that they don't yet know about. At what scale is the competitor working with, what their priorities are, so we can also give these insights to predictive analytics. And of course, as a byproduct of all this, cost optimization is a must. I say byproduct, uh, but it's actually one of the first priorities we have in our product discovery phase. If the endeavor, the initiative we're working with, is going to bring major cost optimization to the organization, only then does it make sense for the organization to proceed with clients for us. And as for how we deliver our services, we we at the heart of what we try to do is innovative solutions. Organizations, of course, there are a number of solutions out there in the world that our clients could probably use from day one. But what we mainly offer is the chance to build completely customized solutions that only take singular clients in mind. So when they have the affordability to do so, it always makes sense for them to have a completely custom solution that's made just for them, keeping their business in mind. And from that, we scale with our partners infinitely. And of course, in doing so, we also have a success record in successful AI implementations across several industries. And we also have tangible improvements to back up what we're saying right now. As for our clients, we have 17 clients across Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Dubai, mostly local, but we also have a few clients from Dubai and Myanmar who have been long-term clients for at least 4 or 5 years. And to summarize how our clients benefit.
Quick interruption there, if I may, Mukarram. You said Dubai and?
Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Dubai.
Myanmar. Okay,
yes.
Even now?
Yes, we have a contract with, I think we have a working product with Telenor Myanmar for KYC verification in the in digital registration processes. Yes.
It's Charlie, it's a legacy product. I think Telenor exited, but the local partner are still servicing this business with the government. So
I understand.
We're servicing them.
I know. The life has to go on. I get it. Yeah.
Of course. So for our topmost clients for which we have brought the most benefit, we have bKash. So bKash uses our retail intelligence cluster. They have a huge number of field forces going out in the market every day to acquire new merchants, to acquire new agents, to train new agents, and service these outlets across Bangladesh. Currently, there are about 600,000 plus active outlets that bKash has to manage daily. So of course, they use our apps to do that efficiently. And before The before and after picture for bKash is that after they started using our products, there has been 74% productivity gains across trade marketing operations, merchant acquisition operations, and such. So for Telenor Myanmar, we have 92%, 92.5% cost savings in fraud detection through our digitized KYC-based operations that we support for Telenor Myanmar. For Unilever, we have uh, a product suite that enables them to measure customer behavior from conversations um, uh, from tracking user interactions in the last mile across 1.2 million customers annually, I would say. And for BAT, we have a voice to text translator and keyword detector that that identifies if BAT brand personnel are executing marketing campaigns, speech-based campaigns properly across 744,000 outlets.
Charlie, you have a question.
Yeah. When you say trade marketing operations, do you mean the MSME servicing go-to-market team?
Let me just skip to the part where this is addressed. So, what we mean by trade marketing operations is uh, organizations like bKash, Unilever, they have large distribution-based systems. They have the need to make sure that their products are visible across all outlets in the country. And in order to do that, we have digitized the process, uh, the interaction between field forces who are responsible for delivering these services and the outlets, retail outlets across the country.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So for our product suite, we have around 23 products that use 59 AI models, parsers, and algorithms suited for each product. These aren't just retail intelligence.
Mukarram, sorry
Yes.
to interject. I think let's go to the flagship because there are too many products. So let's just talk about two products that are flagship.
Of course. So for our flagship product, we first have Biponon. It's a trade marketing tool that enables AI-driven trade optimization through real-time share of voice detection in cluttered retail spaces in using computer vision. So how this works is uh, all organizations, mostly that we work with, they have the need to understand that their products are stocked in shelves across Bangladesh and that their point of sales materials are visible to customers across Bangladesh. But of course, in order to do that, the only way they could do that is using AI. So we have an object detection model that we train on a regular basis on product images, and what our model can do is it can detect uh, product presence or point of sale material presence from storefront images taken by field forces
So
for
the
our
only
clients. So at the end of the day,
only
from
issue
thousands of visits made daily, we can.
So the only issue, Charlie, is that this is only applicable for large enterprise who have a large sales force base. Small companies cannot service this because it's a point of sales service agent has to kind of capture images. So basically, that's one of the limitations. That's why we are serving only the large enterprises. Sorry, Mukarram.
Of course.
I got that.
So this,
I guess where I'm trying to link the Biponon with bKash is a payments mobile recharge bundling service provider. So how are they leveraging this in their environment? Thank you.
so for bKash specifically, they need to track if their point of sales materials are properly installed at outlets across Bangladesh. They don't deal with products. They just want market visibility throughout the country, customer visibility throughout the country. So what our model does is uh, takes an image like this and it detects what point of sales materials are available in the store. And at the end of the day, from thousands of visits, bKash head office has visibility of how many outlets have how many POSMs installed across the country if they're going over with the branding materials or if they're under, so they can take precautions accordingly. That's how bKash uses it.
Okay,
So
I
Charlie,
guess
just from
because
this-
scale matters in this offering to Mustafi's point earlier. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one point that you might understand might be different for bKash, that even though it's a fintech company, it operates like an FMCG company, because what you need is a lot of top of mind and a lot of campaign, a lot of discounts, and they usually the sales of distribution points are not like large retail presence. They're basically work with a lot of SME, based street side vendors, very small companies where this bottom of the pyramid customer base basically do cash transaction, and they mostly don't have a banking accounts. So their exchange of banking financial is these shops where they constantly has to kind of promote campaigns and have a top of mind, so that they're always kind of doing preferred as a primary transaction for bKash. So that's one of the reasons they do this heavy promotion all the time, year round.
I understand. Thank you.
And the second flagship product that we have is Dharapat.ai. It's a CIB or bank statement analyzer. For context, a CIB report is a Credit Information Bureau report issued by the Central Bank of Bangladesh, and it's a mandatory process that banks and other financial lending institutions need to analyze customers' CIB reports in order to assess their credit worthiness and proceed. This process, excuse me. So what Dharapat does is it takes CIB reports, and according to logic provided by these financial institutions, the credit rating is completely automated. Just to highlight the benefit, credit information reports that used to take 3 to 5 business days to process now take 30 minutes, under 30 minutes to process after using Dharapat. So we have IDLC and Prime Bank, two very renowned financial institutions in Bangladesh, currently using it.
Mukarram,
Question for you.
slide is not visible, by the way. Sorry, Charlie.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to reshare. Apologies.
You can go ahead, Charlie, with your question.
If I remember why, just give me a moment. Let me think. Now, CIB report, this is generated by the Central Bank, Bangladesh Bank,
Yes.
and it's an annual report
It's not an annual report. It's available
on demand.
Charlie, this is mainly the credit score of each company and each individual. So it updates constantly. If I default, let's say in April, it will be reflected from the very next day. So it doesn't update annually.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is that although credit reports are available on demand, the local financial institutions are saying, yeah, that right. I want to see what the reality is. I'm going to take the CIB and I'm going to compare your latest bank statements, whether from my end or from some other bank, if you're trying to do new business with me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see for myself that this is kosher, that this is really your credit standing and not some, fabricated scenario.
Yes. So it has a set format. So they use Dharapat to analyze that. It used to take one credit analyst, especially for the corporate CIBs. It used to take one credit analyst a few hours. Now we have brought it down to 20 minutes or so. And it's for both consumers and corporates. And what you mentioned is statement analyzer. We also have another product that is a bank statement analyzer. So we usually try to sell these as a suite of banking solutions, the Dharapat and the bank statement analyzer, since the users are the same. Mukarram, you can go ahead.
Do you have any more questions from this, or I'll move on? Moving on. So, Totto.ai is our first foray into B2C product launch. As you've noticed that the products I've mentioned so far are all very B2B, very large enterprise scale focused, but Toto.ai is the first product that we intend to push through B2C channels. So what Toto.ai does is it tries to eliminate the customer service bottleneck for small and medium-sized organizations by automating the customer service experience. So using agentic AI models, processes, we stand the benefit of automating how customers interact with businesses, how businesses manage their customer conversion funnels using AI. So this is a very initial stages, but we have a very good response from clients we've talked to so far to the product discovery process. So this will be the last part of our presentation. If you don't have any questions, that will be all.
Thank you for taking this very quickly through the capabilities. And I think it's given me a whistle-stop view. I have a few questions / points that I'd like to raise along now, if it's okay with you. Is it fair for me to describe a key capability that intelligent machines have? Sorry, so it's a lot of syllables. I'll just call it IM, right? You guys refer to yourself IM anyway. Would you call yourself an AI-enabled DevOps capability?
Yes, of course. We do have AI-enabled DevOps capabilities, yes.
But would that be central to what you do?
It's definitely central to what we do for Bcash because it's operates at such a scale. But most organizations they just operate at a microservice-based capacity.
Okay. So Mustafis, when you just before you joined, I was sharing the folks that I probably am a little bit jaded because this week is Tech Week in Singapore and there are literally thousands of guys pitching AI. So forgive me if I don't get excited over everything I see here because I see a lot of it at the moment. But the one thing that I want to say, and I'm not sure if this is the right forum to say, but I think it'd be great for discussion. When the team told me it starts with very briefly, who you guys are, your capabilities, and it talks about the tools, and then it went into the products. And the reason why I mentioned that is because I'm thinking, when you want to go into the region, who will you be really competing with? And of course, the more fundamental question is who are you attempting to serve? So you have your flagship products, and your flagship products, Biponon and Daparat says that, hey, look, we are really good at this trade marketing ops, especially in the emerging space, but for large scale capabilities, that's what we're good at, right? I mean, this is Bangladesh. We have 180 million people. The other thing, of course, is that, yes, we have credit reports, but, it's not worth a lot, right? That's essentially what you're saying to the central bank. That's why you want to take the bank statements and compare to the CIB and come up with a hopefully more complete picture. So that to me, kind of positions your primary capabilities now. But most importantly, I think I need to then answer maybe we need to answer the first question, which is, who are we really competing with? Are we competing with another product shop? And we all know there are many, many AI shops out there. And everybody is leaning on open source models, right? Llama or Chinese ones, if you can get the client to accept, that it's more open and more transparent. But I think from the examples you gave me, Bcash and the banks, the 95 institutions, financial institutions, to me, you are a consultancy, and the first pitch to me, and without knowing enough about what you guys are doing elsewhere, is that, hey, you've never heard of Bangladesh as a market, but let me tell you, we are from Bangladesh and we serve a market that's 180 million strong, and we serve clients with literally hundreds of thousands of outlets in advising them in how we can optimize their retail capability, and advising them how we can significantly improve their risk assessments as they lend across almost 100 institutions. We know what to do, how to help you dramatically improve your business with our capabilities. Of course, we have our secret sauce. Our products are our secret sauce. But the real thing is we understand the space of scale. We understand the space of, capabilities for emerging markets and getting you to leapfrog the more established and mature spaces that you observe around the rest of the world. I think if you come from that angle, then it's a very different proposition, because as you move from who you are, the tools you, and then the products, I got stuck into the products and I kind of forgot. I don't really appreciate the real value that you brought to bKash and the financial institutions. So that's my 2 cents, Mustafiz, from the very quick pitch from the team. But I think, to me, that seems to be your real gem, that you guys have cut your teeth with 17 clients and you have managed to produce a lot of value in very low cost, low paying markets. Sorry for being so blunt about it, right? Purchasing power is the issue, right? Yeah.
You're
And
right.
if you can do this when people can barely afford it, can you imagine what we can do if you can pay us a bit more? And you don't have to go to the big four anymore.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that we haven't done traditionally is that we have been very focused on the local market, because once our MVP kind of pivoted and we got a very, I would say, dedicated customer, and their demand for, developing their product features. We started with 1 product and now we actually have 8 products within bKash, and we still kind of not delivering all the other demands in our pipeline. So we got bogged down with a lot of servicing this a customer, and then we did other customers also. But I think the flagship customer has been bKash. And what we are able to do with one customer is that we were able to solve a lot of this their technical problem at scale. And I think that kind of was our secret sauce. Like, how do you solve a technical problem at scale and with the zero redundancy? We cannot have any error. So in last 6 years we got that, and what we are now seeing is that the technology is at a tipping point where AI, which were on the background, it's now in the foreground. So the margin of technology from background to foreground really is going to shape what's going to come on the tech side. And we understand that, I think, far better than other people who probably has done the traditional software outsourcing outside, which is basically cost-based, where what we did was more of a product solution, so our tech stack is a very different, whereas it's more about cost arbitrage versus finding solution for companies with real tech stack. So now we are looking at this coming wave of AI. How do we layer our understanding of this enterprise service, and then untapped servicing of that consumer facing, which we have never done. But I think in order to scale of all things that we have learned, we need something on that side. But we are not going to dismiss our capability on the enterprise side, because that still gives us a cash flow. And we know that even from the AI front, there are a lot of opportunities coming. You saw in last 2 weeks, USA has declared $100,000 for their H1 visa. That means for the next, Trump's going to be there for the next 3.5 years. So for foreseeable future, there's going to be a lot of technology constraint within the domestic economy, and they will not have able to kind of have the engineering talent purely because of the economics. So what we are expecting, a lot of this demand will basically from outsourcing to, there will be like returning back, and then it will be remote. So we see that beside India, country like Vietnam and then Bangladesh will be, or even Pakistan to that degree, they will look for a solution or other ways to serve that market, because now it's all remote, right? It's not a requirement for on-prem solution. So we're also anticipating this engineering demand suddenly. So we also want to kind of prepare ourselves to kind of tap into it. So I'm not actually dismissing that this other model. And I think what we're going to start doing it, we're also trying augmented model, because that's another thing we're seeing, because enterprises, they want to reduce the payroll headcount and the tax obligation. So even locally, we're seeing people are moving away, the large enterprises moving from their actual headcount to augment. So this is something we're also working on. And in fact, right now we are at the last leg of final negotiation. And if that happens, that will be our first augment model. So these are the three-prong area we see from retainer to augment, and then the B2C, which we want to really kind of work on.
So sharing that set of priorities, and I think it's basically demonstrates the confidence the business has in itself, in its ability to deliver. My comments earlier were really around what we discussed the last time, right? If I'm going to come into the region, how do we get there, right? Do we go in cheap and cheerful and just say, here's the product, we flog it and hopefully you will consume it, and that becomes our primary focus. It could well be, but then it also means that it has to align with the other initiatives that you just highlighted, right? The B2C initiatives, the augmentation initiatives. I think it's hard to say which one will be most successful. But I guess it all comes down to what intelligent machines stand for. Where you cut your teeth, right, in gaining this prowess. And yeah, I know when you have a dominant client, they basically just take you through everything. Yeah. And as far as they're concerned, you're part of them. They just happen to pay very cheaply for it compared to their own people, and they have a lot more flexibility because no one's going to ask them to do quarterly performance reviews. So I think the opportunity, it seems, is okay in this particular space. If we do to leverage it, then it is about the outcomes that you've created for bKash and others are like them. The tools, to me, they are great tools because you essentially capture the intellectual property, you're shortening the cycles, right? Who wouldn't like that? But as you probably know very well, every market's going to be different. Even I'm sure your experience in Myanmar legacy is maybe you show it, hey, actually they operate differently. Never mind the language, right? It's just the way they think about things. So yeah, I think this has helped me, Mustafis, in understanding intelligent machines a bit better. And as I shared with you the last time, the question is how Harvest Moon can be of help, given that it's interestingly you're not the first shop right now having this conversation, and I'm kind of worried about getting too diversified. But I think something I need to ponder over. And I just want to thank you and the team for sharing about your capabilities with me. And then we should keep talking, in this and the other aspects that we've touched on the last time. Is there anything else, Mustafis, you want me to think about before we conclude the discussion?
I mean, there's two things. I think Wahid probably didn't share the finance numbers, so maybe we can share a bit of finance numbers.
Yeah. That will help a lot. Yeah.
And then I can have a closing remark. Wahid, do you have the numbers? The finance numbers?
Finance numbers, we are doing around 7 million a year. Sorry, not 7,700,000 a year. And we expect it to be at least 100% increase in the coming years because of the augment model and some of the pipelines. And we are backed by some of the leading VC funds in Bangladesh. We are backed by the government VC arm, Startup Bangladesh, and also IDLC Venture Capital, one of the leading investors in this space. Also, interestingly, we are backed by other asset managers as well, Edge Asset Management, and also one of the founders of the leading stock brokerages. So these finance and core finance guys really backed us for our potential. And we are now looking for a capital that will truly unlock newer markets for us, to be honest.
Mustafis and I talked briefly about it. Sorry, Mustafis, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that just to kind of add to it, it's like we have been profitable for the last, I think, 1.5 years. And I think one of the things that we kind of anticipated that because of this impeding economic constraint around the region, the VC has, the VC investment has been a lot more focused in terms of monetization and profitability. And that's what we really kind of focus where, I think what people are doing, especially in the last 8-9 months, is that looking at the monetization profitability in a lot more sharper sense than what previously it used to be growth at all cost, which I think fundamentally has changed. So this is something we kind of calibrated, like focusing on our margins, focusing on finding the profitable customer groups and segments. So that also kind of determined how we are approaching this particular segment. So just wanted to add that bit. Over to you, Charlie.
I was just thinking that as far as margins are concerned, because it's largely bespoke work, and I think you did share previously, right? The go-to-market cost is 25 to 30%, so that leaves you with 70-75% gross margin, which is very sensible for a services software as a service capability. I think it's very good to know that it's that there is that bump up that you will see, and I guess the question really is the kind of and we did talk about this whether it's capability building, which is about raising equity, or it's about the working capital, which we discussed. So I think that is where I think a bit more detail would be helpful, because at the end of the day, there are a couple of things, right? The capital to drive the growth, and the reach for the growth to happen, right? So we talked about the former just now. With the latter, I think one of the things that would really help, if it makes sense to you, Mustafiz, is to get into the data together with Wahid. Of course, we need to make sure that there's a non-disclosure in place to protect your interests. And after that, really, it's about making sure that those numbers become clearer in terms of timing, because I think you guys know what you want to do. The question becomes, okay, at what point do you draw down, and then at what point must this capital come in, and in what shape? If it's about, look, I need to set up an office in, I don't know, Malaysia, because we decided that Malaysia is where it's going to be more favorable, given our tools and capabilities, and given the relative scale, right, that they have in terms of as a country. They may have and frankly, it's also a fairly strong currency regime right now. So good hard currencies coming in. So that would then determine how much you want to raise against the demands. So that's where I would suggest, specifically on the funding side. On the go-to-market side, I need to have a hard think, as I share with you, because it ties back to what I said just now. If your pitch is, hey, I'm a consultancy, I've done this at scale, I know what it's about in the emerging markets especially, then who you go to and who would distribute your capability is quite different. It might well be simply partnering with the Big Four, because the Big Four don't do everything. They don't actually do everything. If you look carefully, in the past at least, every couple of months or so, they're buying capability. That's how they get better, right? It's not because they grow their strength organically. They don't. It's very hard to train your guy to do 20 different things every other week, right? It's not possible. So they bring people in and they try to scale. So that is where it gets interesting, because a partner could well become for example, an owner, who knows, right? So that's why I wanted to understand if there's this pitch at the B2B level, then there's the B2C you mentioned, and finally there's the augmentation. I thought augmentation in today's world is quite interesting, because you can augment, but do you know what you are trying to do, right? So the first capability, I can help you get your outcomes, is supported by augmentation. Especially if there are other things you want to do. And then finally, if you have a retail focus, then, like you said, you want to get into that game as well. That's how I see it right now from the go-to-market. So I think if you ask me now, based on the current pitch, it's not going to be so straightforward, because it's the tools that's being emphasized. And the tools seem to be asking for solutions. Whereas I think you guys have done great solutions, and maybe that should come to the front.
Okay. I think we have a AGM coming, so we'll be tied down till 14th of October. So, but I think end of the month, Wahid will be able to work on some models. He's a financial wizard, kind of does the heavy lifting for us. So it will not be a problem. So we can give you a financial model, and we have some numbers already working on. So is that a good deadline, Wahid, or do you need more time to kind of share the numbers?
Well, end of month is a good deadline.
Okay, cool. So Charlie, basically asking for 3 weeks. We should be coming back with some, good numbers, and I think from there, once you look at the numbers, we can have another, call to try to go through the numbers and understand and give you a deep dive.
Yeah.
So
you give me a bit of time after that to assess the shape and form.
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm sure Wahid will have a ton of materials on by that point after the AGM. Yeah.
Right. And if required, I often do travel back and forth to Singapore, and if required, I'm happy to kind of jump in a flight and just talk in person, if there is something, concrete. But regardless, I think for your, for your kind of feedback, I think for my team is very, very, good, because I think one of the things I wanted to do is like, I've done a lot of the last 2 months. I've been doing a lot of this kind of market contact, so that my team gets a kind of a reality check of what the market is looking at, how the market is moving, and what direction. So this kind of feedback and conversation really kind of helps us to shape our ideas and hypotheses. So I really appreciate the time. You almost gave us, almost 1 hour. So we appreciate your time.
And thank you for yours and the teams. I think they have shared openly about the successes they've done, and that helps me a lot too. In future when we continue to engage. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day, guys. Take care. I'll send the NDA over just to get the paperwork going.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right,
Cheers. Bye.